And if you don't want to be on screen, because this will be distributed after this as well, to other people across all platforms. So if you want your camera off, you feel free to have your camera off. It's entirely up to you. So I'm Denise Mortimer, and this is your Cash Machine Content Workshop. What I'm here to tell you today are things that have worked really, really well for me. And the invitation is for you to take on what makes sense to you and to adapt it for your own purposes, because the difference that made the difference to me was me showing up more as myself. And that is the difference that makes the difference. I just want, if anyone's in the waiting room, I just need to make sure no one's in the waiting room. I think we're all here. Okay, fabulous. So who am I? This is just like, if you want to look at this from a marketing perspective as well, that I'm just going to take you through a standard webinar presentation. Who am I? Forbes female entrepreneur to watch, rapid transformation coach, best-selling author, public speaker, positive psychologist, master practitioner of NLP, six-figure business owner, although that dipped a couple of years, but I'm back in the game again, and business mentor for women in business, primarily women in business. Kevin has been a client of mine for a long time, and he is not a woman, at least he doesn't identify as one at this moment, but we never know. Why this masterclass? Because the online space is filled with lots of noise, and your people want to hear your authentic voice. Too many people sound exactly like too many people. Would you agree or would you agree? Everyone starts to sound the same, right? People pick up on your energy, and if it's not authentic, you won't stand out in your business. And if you don't stand out as yourself, your business is not going to survive. And standing out is not a chore. It is your duty. It's your absolute duty to stand out online. Standing out as yourself is easy when you know how, because attention is currency. Attention is currency. If people are paying attention, the fact that there are 10 people live here and there's going to be people watching live in the Facebook group, that's currency. For me, that is currency. I have your attention. When you have someone's attention, when they're commenting on your things, when they're inboxing you, that is currency. This is just again, like from a marketing perspective, this is just my credibility builder. These are people I've worked with, workshops I've done, people who've employed me for various things where I've been featured. Stay till the end. Always an invitation to stay till the end, because I've got something that it goes beyond this. If you're feeling called, if you like what you hear and you want to experience more, then you can stay with me and we'll just talk about what that's going to look like. I'm going to let people into the waiting room. I got a couple of people in there. Oh, it's saying that Kevin's in the waiting room, but Kevin is here. How strange. Anyway, I'm letting everybody in.
It's
you're here.
My link.
Okay, so first thing that I'm going to cover today, who wants to see my post that brought me £12,000 in business? And many of you have seen it, but we're going to have another opportunity to deconstruct it. I'm going to tell you what it took to create that post and how you can create your own version. Again, not for you to sound like me, but for you to sound like you. But I want you to see how it sounds like me. Like when you read that, it's like Denise is in the room. Like the words are just evident that it's me in the room. The other thing we're going to do today is, I'll write down any questions. And my next question for you, are you ready to see my £12,000 post? Give me a hell yes, a heck yes, a yes, please, or whatever in the comments if you're ready to see the £12,000 post. And I'll explain to you how I got to £12,000 with that post. And Kevin has a doppelganger. Yes, damn straight. Fabulous. So I'll tell you a funny story as well as we go through this. But first, before I show you the post, I want you to identify yourself. Are you a cricket magnet or are you a client magnet? Are you getting crickets on your posts or are you getting comments on your posts? And I also just want to say that comments and engagement don't always equal money in the bank, because some of my best posts that have got crickets on the surface have been my biggest impact, where people have sent me DMs. But let's talk about the cricket magnet. Gets no engagement or very low engagement, gets likes and nothing else, like you're in like what I would call the friend zone, right? That people like, oh, she's really nice, and then they go and hire somebody else, right? We don't want that. We want you to be the one who stands out. They write posts that say nothing about what they want to sell, like, so they have a business, but there's no evidence of it anywhere. And social media, whilst you are exchanging your details, your personal details, for them to keep on a database so that they can track every move that you make. Technically, it's free. It's free advertising. It's, remember the olden days, like, I'm showing my age, you had to scrim through the local newspaper or go to, even in Tesco, they still have them now, like, the billboards where you've got, this is free advertising. Like, if you have a business, and you are free to disagree with anything I say, but if you have a business and you are not using your social media as an opportunity to sell your business, you are missing the biggest way to work across, to be a global company, from your kitchen. You can be a global company from your kitchen, and you can have clients that pay you all over the world who will never, ever meet you in person because they know, like, and trust you from seeing you on social media. And then the cricket magnet is writing for the low intentioned client. You're not being clear enough. There's no clarity or very little clarity about who you're writing for. So you get lots of people who are like, oh, this is nice, this is pleasant, but they're not taking any action because they're not activated to take action. The client magnet writes intentional content for a high intentioned audience. You want a high intentioned audience, people who are hungry for what you've got, because the problem is now. If people are saying, I'll join you in 6 months, they're lying. They're not going to join you in 6 months. They're just being polite and saying, I'm not going to join you now. Very, very rarely are they going to come back in 6 months. They might. I've had a few people sort of virtually tap me on the shoulder and saying, I needed to pull the money together and I'm here now. But that's literally been maybe 4 people in 6 years I've been in business. If they're coming back to a later date, there's not enough urgency in what you're offering. And there is someone right now who wants what you have as a matter of urgency. The client magnet is stepping up as an authority, and I'm going to explain how you can do that with your posting, and treat social media as a business space. And obviously you need to make sure that you don't overstep, which sometimes wouldn't even know the boundaries on social media, where they can just like decide that they don't, they close your account down or whatever. So the intention is for you to not be entirely reliant on social media, but using it to the best of your ability to expand your reach to however far you want. If you just want to be a local company, you be a local company. If you want to be a global, if you want to be intergalactic, I'm sure there are people from other planets watching us right now, ready to sign up with us. Some of them actually are my clients. So which one are you? Are you a cricket magnet? Are you a client magnet? About making distinctions. I got this quote the other day from Robert Kiyosaki. Intelligence is when you can make finer and finer distinctions. Some of you might not have ever thought that you're writing for a low intention audience or a high intention audience. So I'm inviting you to consider how you can make finer and finer distinctions so that you're speaking to the right people. I just want to make sure there's nobody in the waiting room that I'm missing. I don't think so. I think I've got everybody in the house. Okay, fabulous. We've done this slide. So here's another thing I want to say to you. And I want you to get real with yourself. Sometimes it's not your content that's the problem. Sometimes it's your mindset that's the problem. And I want you to acknowledge that it's multifactorial. It's not one thing that's maybe contributing to you not getting engagement. It could be a mindset thing. It could be a lack of clarity on the client you're talking to. Like, If you feel like you are guilty of any of those, I invite you to be honest and go to the chat box and go, yeah, that's me. Maybe you have a lack of clarity on your offer. Maybe you have a lack of clarity on how to communicate that offer. Maybe it's a mindset issue. Maybe it's how you write your content. Maybe it's a collection of all of those things. Please excuse me while I wipe my runny nose. Who feels like they have been you know, one of these things may be contributing to. Let me know. Let me know. All right, you ready for the big reveal? We need a drum roll. I'm going to show you I'm going to show you my post. Some of you might have seen it before. I will read it to you. It'll probably take about 2 minutes for me to read to you. I'm going to actually do a new screen share because it's difficult to read that one. So okay, I'm not going to do another screen share. Let me know if you can see this one still. In a nutshell, this was the post. Oops, hold on. I'm looking for a woman for my next case study, a woman who's in business, achieving mediocre results, but is aiming for fantastical, magical results. There was lots of emojis in this as well. Drop me a comment if you've seen this, if you saw this post. Some of you might have even responded to this post. It was super exciting when it went out. It was like, I went to the gym and I came back from the gym. I was like, holy Moses. The impact was huge. A woman who believes in manipulating energy for the greater good. A woman who's dancing between two worlds and is ready to leap into the unknown. My screen isn't because she knows that the unknown is where the magic resides, where fear becomes something she used to experience but can only see in others now, and it's no longer her fuel. This is a woman determined to make an impact. It's not for that's nice, dear kind of woman, the woman who moves slowly. There's nothing wrong with moving slowly, but it's not my pace. Are you getting a feel for this post now? Are you getting a feel for who this might be for? And then I go on to say, I'm big energy, I move fast, I'm switched on. You'll be excited about keeping pace with me, not exhausted by keeping pace with me. And I want to tell you something. When I wrote this post, this is why we write for one person. This is why we write for one person. When I wrote this post and I thought of who I don't want to work with, there's a lovely, lovely lady that I know, and she came to mind. I thought, I love her and I'm happy to have tea with her and I'm happy to converse with her, but she moves at a snail's pace. And I would be shaking her going, move, like do something, because that's how I move. That's how I operate. And I thought of this very person when I did this post. So I thought of who I did want in my world and who I didn't want in my world. And what I want you to know is that you can polarize your audience without being an asshole. You can polarize them without them thinking, I can't stand her, can't stand him, I'm not going to follow them anymore. Because the very lady that I thought of when I said moving at a slow pace came over to me some weeks later and tapped me on the shoulder at a live event and said to me, I love that post, but I knew you weren't for me. And I thought I mastered it. I mastered the art of connecting with the right people and disqualifying the wrong people whilst still keeping them on good terms, because that person could be someone who refers someone to me, be like, oh, you got to go and work with Denise. She moves at fast pace. She's big energy. Anyway, going on to finishing with the post here. I'll skip across from it. She's the creator. She's ready to join me on a journey of truth. She's here to make a big impact. Then I go on to say the type of woman who gets the best results. This is a statement. Get it tattooed on your forehead. The type of person that gets results. The type of person that gets results from me. Because if you don't know the type of person that gets results from you, you're not likely to be able to communicate that. So I want you to be thinking about the type of person that gets results. Is the big dreamer, the woman who speaks up even when her voice quivers, the woman who's previously toned herself down because she's been seen as too much, the woman who's played by the rules but knows the game and is prepared to play in a new way. So I'm giving the qualities of this person, and this activated people to be like, hell yes, I am that person. Like, go to the comments, tell me if you're feeling this, if you're thinking like, yeah, I probably would have, you know, or you might not have replied to it. You might have been like, that feels scary, but let me know one way or another. How's that feeling? Making you feel like you're speaking to me. There we go. There we go. I'm going to show you what happened. So I'm not going to, in the interest of time, I'm not going to read the whole thing. It's there in the recording that you can keep referring to. So this is what happened. These were the kind of comments that I got after this post went out. I mean, you tell me, do you want comments like that coming in your inbox? I'm the woman you're looking for. I want to put myself forward. We need to talk. Reference to your post the other day before you hit delete. I hadn't actually hit delete, but I was like, which post are you talking about? I post multiple times a day. And I said, oh, is it the one I'm looking for a woman to be? And she said, yeah. And then this person signed up with me. So these are the kind of things that happened after that post. Who'd like comments like that coming into their DMs? So some of you know the answer to this. If you know the answer, keep it to yourself. If you don't know the answer, drop in a comment. How long did it take me to write that post? Tell me how long you think it took to write that post. If you know the answer, don't say it. If you do, so it was instantaneous. I remember seeing this, wish I could afford it. Amy, I want to tell you something. I'm going to call you out on this. You didn't even check, and I want you to all take this on board. Who tells themselves they can't afford things before they know if they can afford things? Who's guilty of that? Who's guilty of it? I've been guilty of it, and I'm inviting you to think, let me find out before I make a decision, before I seal my fate. And I'm not picking on you, Amy. I'm saying that you're representative of a lot of people, including myself. Sue Carlson saying, I'm sure it just spilled out. Corey says it was instantaneous. And the truth is, this post, it took me 7 years to write. It took me 7 years to write this post. How do I reckon that? It took me 7 years to learn how to run a business, of refining and redefining my ideal client, of having loads of less than ideal clients on my books, of learning how to use the right words to attract my audience, of knowing exactly who I didn't want as a client because I had them as clients, overcoming my people pleasing, having the courage to say, I don't want to work with you if you're a slowpoke. Great. There are people who will love you, but I'm not one of them. We move fast in my world, and that excites me. Like, put that into action. Yes. Okay. Because one thing we need to know is, like, your business is your playground. Your business is your playground, and there's no right way to do it. We try things, and the delete button is there when things don't work. Right? It's not a, a coward's way out. Like, if you're thinking, like, if you start getting attacked for something, for putting a strong view out there or something, but the delete button is like, I put that out 5 hours ago. It's got no engagement. I'm going to tweak it. I'm going to play with the words a little bit because that's a damn good post. And I don't know why those stupid people haven't responded to what I've put out there. So I'm going to tweak my words a little bit. And I'm going to put it out there again. So use the delete button. If you're not getting what you want, it's a playground. There are no hard and fast rules. And you might find that a post that you put up one day doesn't get any engagement, and the next day people are like jumping all over it just because it's a different time of day, maybe the same exact post. So please don't ever go forward to work with someone thinking like, give me the answers, because they don't have them. They don't have them. The only thing they can do is guide you with a level of expertise, being like, I've seen this work before. Let's try that. Let's get your message clearer. Let's get your ideal client clearer. But they're never going to tell you the right way to do things, because there isn't a right way. There's a right way for you. It took me 7 years to understand the things I've always been challenged with are my superpower. We're going to talk about that in a minute. And 7 years to understand that everything is energy. How are we doing so far? Drop me a little comment. We enjoying so far? We're doing so good. So these are things that I got fed up with along the way. Hit records usually written half 300. Yes, exactly, Corey. Yes. Yeah, fantastic. I love that. It's like I created something yesterday. I created the quantum creep instead of the quantum leap. Everybody talks about the quantum leap. Oh, I'm gonna have a quantum leap. I'm gonna make $1 million tomorrow. No, you're not, because you wouldn't handle it if it landed on your lap and you're starting from £5 in your bank. You need to do incremental. You have a quantum creep. It's the next logical step and the next logical step and the next logical step. So I have given birth to the quantum creep, where we allow all the components to come together so that you can one day be seen as an overnight success when they don't see the 7 years of work that you've put in to get there. Am I making sense, or am I making sense? Right. Okay. So when I put this post together, I did it. I was sitting in my bedroom getting ready to go to the gym, and it did pour out of me, but it took 7 years to get to that point for it to pour out of me. And when I sat there getting ready for the gym, I was like, I am a magnificent human. I do incredible things and my clients get phenomenal results. And just being in my world and being in my energy, they get like, they feel good. They feel activated. I'm like, I'm bored pretending that I'm not magnificent. I'm bored pretending that I don't like have a great impact on people. I'm bored thinking like, what will so-and-so think of me? Who hears what I'm saying? Whoever feels like they're playing small because they're like, oh, what will they say? Who the hell cares what they're going to say? The right people will come to you and the others will leave. Okay. I got bored trying to fit into the way things are done in the online space. Who's guilty of let's do things the right way? Let's like, how do I show up on LinkedIn? You do whatever the hell you want and you see what lands well, because it needs to come from you. It needs to come from your soul. I got bored thinking I could only say things in a particular way. And if I'm really honest, and I invite you to be really honest as well, I was guilty of like copying other people, not plagiarizing, but thinking like, oh, they're getting really good results. I'll be just like them. Who's guilty of that? Who's done stuff like that? I'm telling you, I've done it. I know that's how I've operated. Don't even know what the right way means. Yeah. I'm bored of people thinking I'm fierce. And the thing is, Corey, you are fierce and it's not a bad thing. It's like, that's what makes you like, so that's what's going to magnetize people to you. And Lisa's saying, I'm ready to show me more. And Lisa, I'm really seeing, your energy showing up online. I'm seeing you really owning your space. Okay, so this is who I wanted. I wanted clients who were as magical as me fully acknowledging that I am a maker of magic, clients who are prepared to take the journey on their yellow brick road. I love the Wizard of Oz as a metaphor for life. We go through life, we're just walking each other home. I think the book is by Ram Dass literally called Walking Each Other Home. And I love the yellow brick road because Dorothy goes on this journey. She meets friends, she meets foes, but ultimately she's just taking herself home, and we're all just taking ourselves home. So people who are on the yellow brick road finding their way home, I got goosebumps talking about this. So this is, whatever's coming through me feels like the truth. I was no longer prepared to compromise my standards any longer. And I wanted clients who appreciate how different I am to anybody else. We all want to stand out from the crowd, right? And here's the big paradox. When we're children, we want to fit in, right? And then we grow up and we realize, I don't want to be like anyone else. I want to stand out in my own right. But when we're kids, we carry around all this like excess baggage of, feeling like we want to fit in when we really were born to stand out. I didn't want clients who wanted me to do it for them. And again, I was thinking of like a particular client that I had a few years ago that I was like, I woke up on a New Year's Day to a barrage of abuse. In hindsight, I think she did have some mental health problems, but I woke up to a barrage of abuse because I wasn't doing things for her, which made me realize I was getting the wrong clients. I didn't want clients who handed their power to me, do this for me, make me a success. People who were like willing, it's a cooperative, it's a co-creative process. I wanted people who were like, wanted to co-create with me, wanted to hear my ideas and then go, actually, that's a really crap idea, Denise, because I say a lot of genius things and I say a lot of things that don't necessarily resonate as well. So you take what feels good and you get rid of the rest. And I had to be bold enough to express it in my writing. And I needed to truly not care if anyone liked me or my post. It was one of those moments in time where I'm like, I literally I don't need, I'm going to go to the gym. I'm doing that post and ghosting. I'm posting, I'm going to the gym, and I'll deal with the fallout an hour later when I come back. And this is what happened next. This is the actual, on that post, this is what happened. Look at this, interested, nervously interested, feeling some fear. Sounds like me, amazing, fantastic. Fuck me, did you just write my bio? Like these were the comments that came up. Super well written. I'm the woman you're looking for. I'm keen to put myself forward. Like, who wants shit like this coming up in there? Sorry for my, I am very sweary. I'm trying to remember that I want to repurpose this masterclass in the future with my swearing in it as well. So who'd like to get comments like that? Like, and then my inbox was just like, and then so all of those people signed up as clients, but not really. They didn't really. So what happened next was I'll explain to you how I got to 12,000. So initially someone signed up with me for £4,500 for 3 months. My prices have gone up. 4,500 for 3 months. And then another person signed up for 1,500. And then I repurposed that post a few weeks later. I changed a few words, changed a few things about it. And I sold another 1,500, and someone who'd bought a 1,500 package upgraded to 2 more months with me. So all in all, it works out £12,000. So it wasn't just from that first posting, it was repurposing it again. And this is what I want you to know. If you have a couple of really kick-ass pieces of content, you don't need to keep writing content. You just need to keep them aside somewhere. You need to save them in your folder on Facebook or put them in a Google Drive or whatever, but save a couple of really good pieces of content so that you don't have to keep writing them over again. You might need to upgrade them. And then, obviously we've got things like ChatGPT, which is an accompaniment, not a replacement for you. So this is how this went. I'm going to tell you about someone who trolled me. She literally sent me a message in my messenger saying, £12,000 post, Denise. I thought it was a £9,000 post. Make up your mind or go back to your own country. And I was like, number one, this is my country. I have my passport to prove it. And number two, I felt like I needed to explain to her, but then I thought, okay, let me be as transparent. Someone else might be thinking she did say 9,000, but the sales that ensued afterwards brought it to a maximum of 12,000, and I'll repurpose it again at some point, and I'll probably make some more sales from that. So just to be clear, if anyone did see that it was originally a £9,000 post, it was, and now it's a £12,000 post. So there you have. And most of this was in cash sales. Most of this was cash paid in full. So who wants to have a little crack at this? We're going to do a little bit of a 10:34. We're good on time. Who wants to have a little crack at doing something like this? Yes, Corey. Yeah, please do ask a question. Do you want to unmute?
Yeah, thank you so much, Denise. This is absolutely brilliant, and my brain is full of ideas, which is great. The thing that's rattling around the resistance is, you said in the post that it was a case study, which to me always implies that the person's going to work with you for free. So how did you get around that?
Thank you for that point. And I was like, the next time I put it out, I didn't put it as case study. I'm looking for a woman, because I thought, I wonder if I was misleading about that. So again, play with it. And I agree with you that it could be misconstrued, that a case study could be. So I think the next time I'd have to find the post I repurposed, but I believe I put case study brackets, but not free. I did something to indicate that there was going to be an exchange, that it was not a free. And even at the bottom of that post, that original post, it says there is a financial exchange or something about, I can send you the exact, it does say that there's a financial exchange, but I'm guessing in hindsight, someone could accuse me of saying, well, you put that at the bottom of it. You put it at the bottom where, you could be more bold.
Yeah, I mean,
this is a paid case study.
Yeah, and the challenge is we live in an age when so people are getting a little bit wary of anything that implies that could be construed as a lie or scarcity or all that stuff. And yes, we
Yeah.
still use them. I'm only doing 10 spaces, but you know, that kind of stuff. But it's getting less and less believable. Everything's changing all the time, isn't it?
Of course. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Thank you.
And I take that point, and I did make that distinction the next time around.
Yeah.
As I said, I have to find the post, but I was like, okay, I need to be clear that this is a paid case study. And why would, in hindsight, I was kind of like, well, why would anyone think I would give my time away for free? Why would I give my time away for free? And I don't want any of you giving your time away for free. I don't want anyone, like, you can do it. Give your time away for free when you've got the ball rolling, like when you've got money coming in. Like you don't need to prove anything to anyone. No one needs to do anything for free. If you're qualified in what you're doing, that's plenty. Okay, so more time than she. Yeah, Gina, I was like, wow, that was an interesting comment from. She was an instant block as well. I'm like, I've got no time for like, like focus on what matters to you. Okay. Excuse me. Let's play. I want you to, when I deconstructed this post, I thought, what made this an exceptional post? What made people really reach out? And maybe it was because they thought it was a free case study, and maybe because they thought I'm really activated by the words here. But I want you to think about, what have you been criticized about being too much of in your life? Where all of us have at some point have been told we're too something. I'm too loud, I'm too fast. I went on holiday with my sister once, and she was like, you're up and you're just like moving so much, like first thing in the morning. I'm like, it's what I do. I'm like, I have one speed. I have one speed, and it's like fast forward. So what have you been told that you're too much of? Go to the comments, drop me in the comments. Tell me what you've been accused of being too much of. I'm too, and let's give you some idea here. Too sensitive, too smiley, too ambitious, too emotional, too loud, too fast, too direct, too bossy, too weird, too intimidating, too intense, too direct, too restless. What are you too much of? What have you been accused of being too much of? Too sunshiny, too bossy, know-it-all, yeah. Too quick, too intense, yeah. Too aloof. Great. I want you to think of a few twos in your life, a few I'm too much. All of the above. Helpful. I give too much away for free. Yes. Drama queen, too controlling, too loud, too sensitive, too weird, too deep. Okay. All right. Great. Too sensitive. Yeah. Too ambitious, too intimidating, too opinionated. Great. Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. I want you to turn this. We're going to alchemize. We're gonna alchemize your two into your superpower. We're taking your too much and we're turning it into a superpower. So I want you to, you've got your twos there. I want you to think about did I miss a page? Let me go back a page. Yes. Who would you love as a client? Who would you love? Like you heard me say, I want people who move fast, and my clients will tell you, I love very close proximity. I'm like haunting them and they're haunting me, and we're like in each other's back pockets. That like, I love that proximity with my clients, because I'm like, do this, do this, do this. And I love that bouncing back and forth. So I love people who are action takers, who are reaching out, who they know they're responsible for their own results. Like, who do you want as a client, and who should bother to approach you? Like, who would you be like, oh my God, that's just the perfect client? Who would you dream of as a client? And you can drop it in the comments if you want to, just write them down for your own purposes. And then we're going to move quickly along. And who would you not want as a client? Who should not bother to approach you? And again, using my own example, because it's the best example that I have, like if you're like, I'm thinking back, like probably 4 years ago. I had a lovely client from Australia, and she was just working on her website the whole time. I'm like, you're hiding behind the website. Nobody cares about your website. We need to get you out there. And she was with me for 9 months, and it was just every update was about working on her website. And I'm like, we need to just get you out there. So like, I learned a lesson that I need to call people out more and go, like, either not accept her, which I think at the time I thought she was the right client, but to be able to say, look, you know, nobody really cares about your website until they see what you've, you know, what you've got to offer. Like, you're hiding. Who would drive you mad as a client? Because this is where your true voice can be seen and heard in your content. So you've got your two, you've got your who you wouldn't like as a client, and you have who you would like as a client. So I'm presuming you've got 3 bits of things there, 3 bits of information. And then how do you work? Like, I'm like, I believe that just do things, and it doesn't need, I don't believe anywhere near perfect, that we're always playing. And I actually, you know, created a term like messy and successy. I'm like, you know, if there are some people who look at what I've created and they're like, how could you even survive with the way you do things? Because I just get on with it. And there are other people who are very, very organized, and I would rather stick needles in my eyes than be that organized about having to do things, because it would bore the hell out of me. Like, who hears what I'm saying? Who's really organized? Like, raise your hand if you're organized and you're thinking like, okay, cool. This is the thing here is, it's not right or wrong. It just is. It just is. And you have full permission to be messy. You have full permission to be organized. You have full permission to be fast. You have full permission to be slow, because the people who want to come to you will be attracted to your energy. And it may be that they're slow and they're wanting to move faster. So they want to work with you because they want to up their game in that area. So it's not even about disqualifying someone who doesn't meet it, but you just standing in your truth of, this is who I am. And when you come into my world, this is how we operate. And I'm happy to show you, I'm happy to show you how to do things the way I do them, and take on board what works for you. Okay, so I want you to put a statement together now. In my world, and I want you to take your best too much statement. We might be like, you know, we move fast. In my world, we move fast and we move messy. If you are slow and organized, you're not for me. But if you are ready to take action and make mistakes fast, well then, hello, let's talk. So I would love you to create your statement, and you can't get this wrong, because your 2 is becoming your superpower. The superpower of the 2. I'm just going to go to the chat box while you're writing your statements. Great. Great. Yeah. Beautiful. Love these. Yeah. Because this is all about you just stepping into, you know, full permission for you to be your own self. And I realize I've got loads more I want to go through. I'm going to, the next part's going to be a little bit quicker, but I wanted just to get a statement in here. So in fact, if anyone wants to unmute and tell me their statement, if they've created their, in my world, anyone want to share? Yeah, go on, Susan.
Yeah, it's better for me to share because for some reason I can't type into the chat box at the moment. Okay, in my world, we're too creative, too innovative. We've got too many fabulous ideas, and we are sick to death of the status quo in business.
I love it. I love it. So if you are, you're not for me. What would be your next statement? If you are.
If you're conventional, if you want to do things properly, if you are, I can't really say a boring fart, can I?
Well, you can say whatever the hell you want.
If you're, slow paced, if you like things the way they are, if you love certainty, then you're not in for my world.
Yes, yeah. But if you're up for being creative and expansive, then hello, let's talk.
If you think business as usual is a crap idea.
I love that. That's a Facebook post for you today.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah, I love that. Who else has got a statement that they want to share? Anybody? And you can't get it wrong, so.
Sure, I don't know if mine is good enough. Well, what's good enough? In my world, we go deep and we go straight to the heart of the matter. If you're a permanent fence sitter and moaner, you're not for me. If you're serious about change and ready to go straight to the heart of the matter, well, hello, let's.
Yes, yeah, well, hello, let's talk. Yes. Yeah, I really like that, Corey.
In
Because
fact, instead of hello, let's talk, I'd say, let's get this done.
yeah, and this is just a tiny little framework for you to, you change it how you want, you change it how you want, but you see the point I'm getting at, like you disqualify the fence sitters. If you're a fence dweller, you probably got a spike up your ass. You're not for me. If you're ready to take some action, let's talk. Like, we're going to go deep and we're going to get to the heart of the matter. I'm not here for like the superficial stuff, and you're not. The work that you do is deep and transformational, and not just like it's whole life impacting what you do. So make that come across, and you can say, I'm intense and I go deep. I'm not going to let you off the hook, and I'm not going to buy your bullshit, like,
Right.
Then people go, oh my God. And some will be terrified. Some will be terrified and never reach out to you. And some will be terrified and be like, I need to speak to her.
I'm not going to let you off the hook. That's very good.
Yeah. I'm not going to buy your BS, your belief system.
I'm not going to buy your BS is also good. Thank
Yeah. Yep. Yes. Who will buy my beautiful bullshit?
you.
Such a sky I never did see.
Absolutely.
Okay, so see how this all starts to work? Getting polarizing. You can polarize without upsetting people as well, like I shared with you about the woman. So I'm going to dive into some other ways that you can use your content, and you can have some fun with this. Now, I worked with a lovely, lovely coach who is very committed to, putting your content out in a particular way, and I just couldn't do it. Like, messy and successy is my trademark, and this works for some people. So you can map your content out if you are a mapper. I'm not a mapper. I need to shoot from the hip. I need to be like, it feels real and it feels in the moment. That's not to say I have a VA who schedules some posts for me, but primarily when you're seeing me in that moment, what I'm feeling at that moment, expressing something at that particular moment. So we're going to talk about content that is inspiring, educational, entertaining, and relatable. These are just some real easy. You will see these if you've not noticed these before, not just from me. You will notice these all over Facebook now. You'll see these things, and maybe you've tried them yourself. Your hand raising posts to build your email list, offer discovery calls. So this is just a way to get people into your world. So you can see here, who would like my money belief change PDF before I make it a paid product? And this is genuine because this was going into my sales funnel. So it's going to become a part of a book that I've got. So there's no lies there. You want it before I make it a paid product. 48 people responding to that. So that's probably some of those comments of mine saying, I'll message you. Probably maybe half of those are people who ended up on my email list. This one, I want you to get into the habit of only operating from inspired action, right? We don't do things unless it's inspired action. And it's really easy because most of us are being run by our egos. And we're running beliefs that say you have to do more to earn more, you have to work harder than other people, you have to show up more than other people. I know this because I've had hundreds and hundreds of clients through my business as on group basis and one-to-one basis, where I know that this is what's running people's life, and it was running my life as well. Do more, do more, do more. So about 5 months ago, I made a commitment to myself that I was only going to take inspired action. And I was doing this as an example so that I could speak the truth to my high-level mastermind clients at the time, that I wanted to know what it was really like to only take inspired action. And let me tell you what happened. there was a weekend and I wasn't launching anything and nothing was happening in my life. And I was like a caged animal. I was going like, just do something, offer something, put a post out there. And I was like, no, it's all the wrong energy. It's coming from the wrong energy, Just relax. It literally, I was like, my nervous system was like all over the place. So the next night, I'm putting my next PDF together to go into my paid funnel as well. And this is literally what happened. I'm sitting at my kitchen table on my laptop, and I'm like, I just finished doing this fear dissolving PDF. I wonder if anyone on Facebook wants it, right? And I was fully prepared to send it out to the 10 people I thought might respond. Inspired action. Look at the number of comments. I had to hire somebody to respond to all those people to get that. I was just like, oh my God, I need my VA back because I need to respond to all these people. And shares, I don't remember if it was me who shared or someone else who shared, but 306 comments, including someone who is in another stratosphere for me, like in multi-millions. And I literally had to reach out to this person and go, what were you doing in my inbox? Like, what? And he was like, I was fascinated with whatever you put out there. So you don't know who's going to turn up in your inbox. So, and like every word of that was the truth. I literally just completed making a 6-page fear dissolving PDF for business owner, going into my paid funnel. Anyone who wants it for free can have it for free. So I want you to think about how you can do a hand raising post. These are great ways. If you're going, you know what, I really want to generate a little bit of money this week. I've got a birthday coming up. I want to take someone out somewhere nice. What would stop you from selling 10 97-pound calls and making an extra £1,000 in a week? Saying, I'm offering 15-minute calls, and you identify their problem, and then you can get them onto a longer call that becomes a sales call, or you can just offer it as a 97-pound call. Again, you play with your business. Sometimes people are going to buy immediately. Sometimes people want to just get a flavor for you. You might want to build your audience. If you haven't got a big audience, you don't need a big audience, but you might want to build your audience so you build that confidence in them. So giving anyone any ideas? Anyone feeling okay? And then this is like, people love to see other people jumping onto things. People love to see other people jumping onto things. So, sorry, hang on. Oh my God, 52 people in my micro offer, the Money Manifesting Mastermind, super excited. People then message you and they go, I want in, because they're like, well, 52 other people can't be wrong. Everybody wants to see that they're not the first one in. So even if it's like, oh my God, 3 people have taken advantage of my calls, I'm so excited. People love to see that they're not the first one in. And you see these are genuine, like, oh my God, just finished it. Like some of you here were on that last course, and you would have had, breakthroughs from that session. And I get like people saying, oh my God, this is amazing. And so in that energy of like, yes, this is amazing, the post goes out. Any comments, questions for anyone? No, Corey's just said goodbye. Struggling to get a statement that feels powerful enough. Play with it, Miss Gina, just play with it. Think about who your ideal client is. Think about the things that you've overcome in your own life. Gina, you were talking to you before you came through all the crap you went through. You're talking to you. What did that person need to know? What does that person need? And you, Gina, you already know this. You know what you're too much of, right? You know what you're too much of. You're turning you too much into your superpower. You're turning you too much into a superpower. Okay, and then celebration posts. People love to see that what other people have invested in you. This is Elizabeth. She's probably my goldest of gold standard client. Elizabeth had one session with me when she couldn't afford it. Like she is such a classic. She was 40,000 Australian dollars in debt. It wasn't even a rapid transformation session. It was an NLP session, because here's the thing as well. Don't hide behind processes. it ain't what you do, it's the way that you do it. It ain't what you do. It ain't what you do. People are buying your processes as an alibi. They're really buying you. They're buying what you're bringing to the table. So Elizabeth and I did a 45-minute session, and no word of a lie, she attributes turning her business into a £1 million business, $1 million months, $1 million month she has now. She's got it's over 10, this is 2018, we had a session. And this is an important thing as well, because when you work with clients, not everybody is going to attribute their success to you, because they might have been doing multiple things at once, right? You know what I'm talking about? Like, oh, well, I was doing this and this and this. And I try and be as honest as possible. Like, well, I'm working with 4 other people at the moment, so it's probably a concoction of all these things together. But speaking to Elizabeth, she's like, no, if I didn't find the money, it cost her 500 £500, which was in Australian dollars, like $1,000. Or it might've been the other way around, might've been 500 Australian dollars, whatever it was. It cost them double in Australia to, you know, to pay for in sterling. And again, she's just such a pure heart. She's like, whatever I could do for you, I'm happy to sing your praises. These are the kind of clients that we want, clients who are happy to attribute. So you do a video testimonial, and I'm going to show you another. Actually, no, I'm not going to do that. In the interest of time, I'm not going to show you a whole written testimonial. No, I think I want to show you, actually. Let me see if I've got it here somewhere. No, I'm not going to show you her whole testimonial, but she did an amazing testimonial. Like we did a written testimonial that was really, really powerful. I may just put it in a template at some point, but it's like, when you do testimonials, be really clear about where your client was. You know, Elizabeth was 40,000 Australian dollars in debt. She made $15,000 the week we had a session together because she had such a breakthrough. Elizabeth didn't know where she was going to get money to pay her bills, like detailing in what state, not like, oh, my client was really struggling and now they're in a really good place. Like, be clear so people identify themselves. Elizabeth has got 6 kids. Elizabeth was, struggling to make her network marketing business run. And then afterwards, this is what happened. She launched a retreat. She relaunched her coaching business. She made £15,000. She put offers out there. So be really clear about what people are getting from that as well. And then we've got relatability posts. Is this all making sense? Is this all landing well? Just give me a comment. Let me know you're still awake, you're still alive, you're still listening. And I'm just going to check if anyone is watching on the Facebook group. I don't know if we've got an audience there. Okay, Natasha Britton is saying, in my world, we know exactly what we want. We have a yes, can attitude. If you're a fence sitter and afraid to take action, you're not for me. Yeah, awesome. People that moaned, great. Okay, great. Okay, thank you. Thank you, people on Facebook who I've kind of not been paying much attention to at the moment. So that's thank you for participating over there. And then we've got relatability posts. So this is really building so people see themselves in you, and this is genuine. This is not like with the intention of like, it's just sharing who I am. So, I went on a course where, I recognized that one of the things that was holding me back is that I was holding a lot of shame about the fact that I'm not as slim as I used to be, and I'm not as young as I used to be. And I've had, the comments that stick in your brain, not like, oh my God, Denise, you're amazing. The comments that stick in your brain is like, oh, look at her nose, and like, go and get your teeth fixed. And, when I used to work in the gym, and this guy was like, oh, I don't like a woman with thick thighs. And I'm like, I don't like a guy with thick brain. but these things stick, right? So this is like, for anyone who's putting you on a pedestal out there, they can see like, look, this is me. I'm 58 years old, and I got there's a photo there at the gym, my imperfect body. It's an overweight body. It's not perfect, but here I am still showing up. 37 comments on that. Maybe half of them are my comments, but still, people responding to that, people identifying as that. And then it stays in your mind that you're highly relatable. Okay. And then the educational posts, and this is this was just, I think that I put this out last week. You need to be the authority on something. So for me, there are a couple of things I love. I love doing the subconscious clearing. I love doing that. And then I love helping people have ideas that they can build their business. And I know a lot of really cool stuff because I spent a lot of money to learn a lot of really cool stuff, and I know how to implement it. So I put this post out saying, you know, sell them what they want and give them what they want or give them what they need. And then I go on to educate my audience. These are things people pay for, things that make or save them money, save them time, improve their health, improve their relationships. But that's kind of the alibi. What they don't realize they want is self-trust and self-confidence to feel good enough to stop procrastinating. So this goes on to say, like, you know, create tangible results. And here is a teaching point, right? So one of the comments I got was, but Denise, if you look down the right-hand side here, but Denise, I don't help my students to get any of these. And this is where I get to stand up and go, yes, actually, this applies. If you are in a service-based industry, it applies. So I said, you know, she teaches young people. Isn't education the route out of poverty? Doesn't education provide opportunities to engage in all sorts of social relationships? Isn't education a differentiator between good and poor health? So she's like, ah, yes, thank you for the shift. Got it. So she's like, yes, I see. So this became a public place to educate. So what could you be educating your clients on as well? Where are you an absolute expert that they might not know that you can then showcase? So then I've put to this client here, this another way for you to market to parents. What you do is the future. And she says, oh, so talk to parents about the bigger, longer term transformation for their children, setting them up now with building blocks for success later in life. Yeah, absolutely. So I was like, oh, this is such a perfect example. Like, it just fed perfectly into how, and this is, I encourage you to do this like on other people's posts as well. Don't be a know-it-all ass, but like, if you can genuinely provide insight and education, because that's going to make you stand out. And I don't think this is still the way it works anymore. It might be, but certainly years ago when I first started and I was very active in a lot of different Facebook groups, what would happen is I always have something going on. I've always got a masterclass, or I always got something that people can buy from me. And by showing up in other people's groups, this actually probably does still happen. By showing up in other people's groups and showcasing my knowledge without being an ass, without being a know-it-all ass, people then naturally gravitate to your profile and go, oh, that's cool. I'm going to sign up for her masterclass. She knows what she's talking about. I read her comments in that other group. And you start building followers that way. Is it all making sense? Yeah. Okay. So these are the type of posts. You've got polarizing. So the first one that I showed you, my 12,000 pound, polarizing, hand raising, celebration, educational, relatable. A blend of these in written or video form are going to be game changers in your business. But none of these content ideas, if you work for you, if you operate from a place of desperation, the energy has to be right. You can make sales if you're in desperate energy. You can make sales if you are in hustle, hustle, hustle. You can make sales in any way, but you're going to attract the same type of energy back to you. So when you come from that place of like, I'd really love to be of service, I've got something amazing to offer you, and it feels like a true offer instead of a desperate offer, you're going to call in more of the right people rather than the wrong people. So the energy that you put out there is the energy you're going to get back. Okay, I'm going to finish up in just a moment. No worries. Got to do clients that. Okay. No worries. Absolutely perfect. That's fine. So, and then 20-80 rule, not 80-20 rule, 20-80 rule. If you've been in my world, you will hear me talk about the 20-80 rule. It's the opposite of the 80-20 rule. 20% success is in the breakthrough. 80% success is in the follow through. So I'm going to share with you guys at the end of every good masterclass, there must be a next level offer. So I'm going to share with you my next level offer. You're free to stay. You're free to go. If you want to hear what's available to you, I'm going to share it in just a moment. If it's time for you to go and you don't want to hear it, you are absolutely free to go. You are under no obligation to stay any further. And if you want the replay, I'll be sending the replay to everybody anyway. So now is your time. If you are done with me and you're going to go off and do your thing, you may do so.